What if I told you the greatest empire in human history began on a small, rainy island? An island that was once divided, invaded, and almost forgotten by the rest of the world. Yet somehow, it rose. It conquered continents. It ruled over oceans, and it built an empire so vast that the sun literally never set on it. But how did Britain, a tiny nation, rise to control 1/4 of the world? Was it luck, power, or something much darker? Let's find out. Let's go back over 1,000 years. Britain wasn't a superpower. It wasn't even united. It was a mix of small kingdoms, Saxons, Celts, and Vikings, constantly fighting each other. The Romans had once ruled it, but when they left, chaos followed. Invaders came from everywhere, Vikings from the north, Normans from France. Each invasion reshaped Britain's culture, its bloodline, and its destiny. But something was changing. All these battles, invasions, and mix of people, they created a nation that learned to adapt, to survive, and to fight back harder than ever. Britain had one big advantage: water. Surrounded by the sea, it was protected, but also isolated. So instead of building walls, Britain built ships. And those ships changed everything. By the 1500s, the age of exploration had begun. While Spain and Portugal were already exploring the New World, Britain was watching closely, learning, waiting, preparing. Then came Queen Elizabeth I, the ruler who turned pirates into patriots. She sent explorers like Francis Drake and Walter Raleigh to sail, trade, and yes, steal. Gold, spices, land, everything was up for grabs. Britain wasn't just playing the game. It was rewriting the rules of power on the oceans. The key to Britain's rise wasn't just war. It was trade. In the 1600s, the East India Company was born. Not a country, but a corporation that built an empire. It started small, trading silk, tea, and spices. But soon, it controlled entire regions. It had its own army, its own navy, its own currency. And at one point, it ruled over more people than the British government itself. A private company ruling millions. Imagine that. Trade made Britain rich, but with wealth came power, and with power came control. From the Caribbean to India, from Africa to Australia, the British flag spread across the globe. They called it civilization. But behind that word lay something else: conquest, exploitation, and domination. Nations were taken, resources were stripped, and yet Britain justified it all, in the name of progress, religion, and order. By the 1800s, the British Empire controlled 1/4 of the world's population. Its navy ruled the seas. Its culture, language, and system of law shaped countries that still exist today. But the empire wasn't built on peace. It was built on rebellions, wars, and resistance. And cracks were already forming. Then came the Industrial Revolution. Steam engines, factories, railways, inventions that changed the entire planet. Britain became the workshop of the world. Cities exploded with life and smoke. Machines replaced men, and profits skyrocketed. But not everyone benefited. The empire's wealth depended on colonies, and colonies depended on control. The more Britain advanced, the more resistance it faced abroad. In India, Africa, and Ireland, people began to rise up. They wanted freedom, and the empire began to realize no empire lasts forever. By the early 1900s, the British Empire had reached its peak. It was the largest empire in human history. But just as it rose through war, exploration, and innovation, it would soon fall because of the same. World wars, revolutions, and independence movements would challenge its very foundation. The empire that once ruled the world would begin to crumble, but its influence still everywhere. In our language, our laws, our global economy. From a divided island to the most powerful empire the world had ever seen, Britain's rise was not an accident. It was a story of ambition, invention, greed, and survival. But history has a pattern. Every empire that rises must one day fall. And that's where our next chapter begins. The fall of the British Empire, when the sun finally set. If you enjoyed this journey through history, make sure to hit like, share, and subscribe to Dusk Times, because next time, we'll uncover how the empire that ruled the world lost it all.